Hello, everybody. You're getting a 4th of July 2-for-1 special here at Capes Cast this week. I'm Jeremy,
And I'm Ryan.
and the first book we're talking about is Ultimate Spider-Man number 6 from 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I know it's not Thor this time. Sorry, guys. It's a,
There's a lot more to come of that, though. So,
yeah, well, and
Ryan
and I
anytime soon.
like, and just to touch on Thor real quick, it not a lot happened. It just finished up the tier stuff, so
Yeah.
it was literally like just. Oh, Thor finds out that T-Waz is actually his great grandfather, which is
Right.
cool. Like he actually learns that for real. But that's like really the only important piece. Everything else is just kind of what's been happening.
Right.
Good issue. The artist, okay, but
Right.
this was really, really good though.
Yeah, man. Chichetto's doing like the work of his career right here, man.
Yeah, dude, this was fire.
Yeah, he's killed it, man.
uh, it really is. It just opens up to like them having breakfast at the table, and
Yeah.
Peter's just beat the hell up, man.
Yeah.
Like
And I
he's got a
love that. I
black
love
eye.
that this is like the flashback, pretty much. It's like it shows
Yeah,
here, and then we see why he's beat up, and it's
yeah. It was so funny because like he's like, "Oh, I fell."
yeah. And they're like, "Come on, Peter."
Like
And I
he's
love that it's
fallen
just like no,
sometimes.
he just comes up clean.
Yeah, and then like Richard the whole time is like, "How does that even happen?" Like I don't.
Right.
He's like, "I don't understand." And then May's like, "Oh, he got it from."
Being a superhero.
Yeah, and then so it MJ kind of throws it out there and is like, "So how exactly did you get the black eye?" She like shoots him a look, looks could kill kind of situation. Uh, and then we like flashback to the previous night, and you've got Peter and Harry just perched up on a building. There's just something about the way that Chichetto draws Spider-Man, like
Yeah.
with the webs and like crouched over, like he's like almost not human,
Yeah.
but it's so cool, man.
It is.
Uh,
So good.
yeah, so it's so funny because like him and Harry are like the total opposites, Like
Yeah.
Harry's rich and he's gotten away with a lot of stuff, and he probably is breaking all these laws before, like doing stuff like this. And Peter, on the other hand, is like, I've never broken a law. He's
Right.
like, I'm like basically I'm a good boy, Like I don't do nothing bad. I just go to work and I come home and I spend time with my family. And then they talk about their code names or whatever, and how he hasn't thought of one yet, and how the uh the public's kind of already picked one for Harry. He's the
Yeah.
Green Goblin. It's pretty cool, Like I like this more than like them trying to think of their own names.
Right.
Like letting them, the people around them, or like the public, and like inspire these names for them, and not just them being like, oh, because I have the powers of a spider.
Right.
Uh, and then, dude, it's just cool.
Oh, I know, dude. That
Pretty cool.
beautiful.
It's so funny because like I feel like in the last couple years, like I've been super critical of Spider-Man.
I think we've all
But
been,
like,
but
I
yes.
mean, I mean, yeah, we all have been. That's really true. But like, I don't know, like when he was showing up in Daredevil, I was like, oh, this is really good. Or when Life Story was coming out, or like when some of the like, and maybe it's just like that Batman effect that I feel that same way about Spider-Man. Like, but
Yeah.
most things that I like about Spider-Man, it's like if it's main continuity stuff, it's like older. What's going on here?
I don't know. You're
Oh,
still here.
yeah, something popped up on my screen. We're good.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, like it's like 80s stuff. The stuff that I read from the 80s is good, you know. Um, but like if it's like alternate like continuity stuff, I'm cool with it. It just sucks that there's not a lot anymore.
Right.
We get Spider-Man Reign 2.
Nobody asked for.
I don't even know how that got I mean, I do. I know why it got a sequel because it's infamous, but like it didn't need one.
But yeah, the best Spider-Man stuff has been the life stories, the
Yeah, like
Spider Shadow, the
yeah.
ultimate.
Stuff that just isn't involving like the Nick Lowe, you
Yeah.
know, posse, because that's just really what it seems like, is a lot of the writers that get handed the book as of now Like the Beyond arc, Zeb Wells, now Joe Kelly. Like, I mean, while he did write, like you said, Ben 10, right?
Yeah, he's like a
He did
co.
write Ben 10, but he's also part of that like brand new day brain trust where,
Right,
him, Zeb Wells, and a few other like Dan Slott, like all of those writers are all basically appointed to Spider-Man because of Nick Lowe. So it's like whatever,
right,
if it's good, it's good. If it's not good, then we're just kind of getting more of the same. But at least this, on the other hand, this like in this again, it's an alternate universe book.
right,
It's just so good, man. It's the characterizations are good, the dialogue is well written, like the art is good. The story is interesting. Like there's enough mystery. Like, and even it's not even like mystery, like we don't know what's going on. It's fun seeing all the other characters figure out what's going on.
right,
Like to see Mary Jane like be like, okay, so like what really is happening? Like that's interesting to me. Like you don't have to keep me in the dark, but keeping some of the characters in the dark is a really good plot tool because then you can kind of, there's drama there. There's some like tension. Like there's some things that you can do with it that you can't really do if the characters know everything, but you don't know everything.
right,
So like I don't want to like jump ship and go to Flash, but I feel like that's a problem with Flash is all of the characters seem to know something, but even they aren't able to like clearly define it or tell you what it is because they want the reader to stay like they want the blinds to be shut still.
right,
But with this, we know what's going on. We know that the maker's the evil mastermind behind this entire world. We know all of the inner workings of it, but it's seeing the characters discover it and learn it and figure it out and have to like navigate that is what makes it good, not the fact that there's this mystery that we as the reader still don't know a year later.
right,
So like that I just think that's the difference in some of the way that these books are told is like you get a really good mystery because of the way it's like baked into the story and it's not just you're trying to tell a mystery.
right.
So I don't know.
I agree.
What do you think of Fisk in this?
I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty neat too, how he's got like I don't know if like the tats mean anything that he has, like the tat
That's what I was gonna ask you is like these tattoos mean something.
because he says he recently had some work done, undergone
Yeah,
some self-improvement. So it kind of gives me like rhino vibes or something like that. Like, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like I don't understand. I don't know
yeah.
really.
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe we'll find out at some point. Um, the fight between the three of them is really really good.
Yeah,
It's really cool, man. Like, it's funny because Fisk is like not even taking them seriously at all.
right.
You know, because he's like basically he knew that they were up there because he has the building on constant security within like what a 200, it's like several hundred feet,
Yeah,
and he knows it. I almost feel like he knows that Harry is Green Goblin. Like, am I the only one that kind of caught that?
what do you mean?
Like, when they're fighting,
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just something in the way that he talks to him, and it's just like how he kind of focuses on Harry.
Right.
Where I don't know, man.
I
And
think
knowing Fisk, he probably does know something.
I think so.
It would be a really really interesting to
I mean,
see if
all Kingpin would have to really know is like, hey, that looks like Stark tech, and
right and yeah and he right well exactly and he just gave Harry Stark Stain Enterprises as part of their deal.
exactly.
So if he hasn't figured it out, yeah, he probably will pretty soon. The
Right.
other thing too is Peter's in a really, really tight spot with all this because he's still working for the Bugle. And so when he goes to work the next day, he's got to see him,
Right.
like
Right.
after he just got his ass handed to him by Fisk.
And now that he's all beat up, he's gonna have to show up at work now all beat up.
Right. Right. Which, because of all of this, and then we get the flashback back to him being at the table in the morning with his family,
Right.
like, is that going to be the next issue? Does he go into work and Fisk is what happened, bro?
I know. Like
He's like,
and
who
he
beat
might
your
be
ass?
like, I punched a dude like in that exact spot. Punched a dude in the back,
Yeah.
in that
So like,
exact
I don't,
spot.
I hadn't thought about this till like right now since we started talking about it. But yeah, things aren't looking too hot for Peter right now.
No, no.
At least on on like the superhero and professional side of things. But his family seems to be supportive of what's going on. MJ, it's nice to see her like not be mad.
Right.
Oh, okay. So this was in the evening. This wasn't even in that. So he had already gone to work. It looked
Yeah.
like, or
Like,
skipped
is
it or
it?
something. But yeah, this because like I hear it says like, oh yeah, you have like off to bed with the two of you. Your mother and I need to talk for a bit. Uh, and then yeah, these last couple of pages is just like them talk. Him and MJ talking. She's like, again, it's nice to see her like not be mad at him for
Right.
hiding it. Just wishing that he had told her sooner that they could like figure it out together. Because this is how I feel like this is how MJ should be portrayed. Like she understands the risk of being with him and like he feels compelled to do this because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
But it doesn't mean she is like in constant approval of the situations he finds himself in, like but she understands that they're the risks that come
100%.
with him as a hero. So it's cool
Right.
to see that carry over into this.
And it's good that Hickman didn't take the low hanging fruit of just being like, hey, let's pad out the story with drama. And
Yeah, right. It's like showing them actually be supportive of one another because at this point, she's also could be in potential danger even prior to this because of how well of she's a well-known person in this universe. Like she runs her own company. Her name is up on billboards from what it seems like. So she's also already a pretty high profile person.
right.
Um, so then I like this part where he's like, and she said, but hearing you tell us what happened, scary as it was, I'm mostly proud. Call it 30% scared, 40% impressed. There may be numbers for other things. And he's like, you want to see the suit, don't you?
Yeah.
And then he puts on the suit, and it's like she's just like, I think this definitely works. You're faster, stronger, all that from a little spider. And then so they go for a little, then she says, like, yeah, what am I supposed to call you when you're in costume? And then he says, actually, that came up recently, and I have no idea. Just one of the best pages, man. I feel
Yeah.
like just like it may, and maybe not even one of the best, but just one of the most like memorable for
Yeah.
Spider-Man fans in the last how many years.
Right. When's the last time
So
we
it's
seen
just
Mary Jane swinging with Peter?
right,
You know.
and not even that. Like this whole last page is just so good, man, because she's like, well, you really do need a code name. I suppose I could ask a professional. I have to warn you, I'm expensive. I charge a lot and by the hour. Then I'll have to pay because I'm a desperate man, MJ. I need your help and I need a code name. Any ideas? It says, "Oh, Peter, isn't it obvious? You're Spider-Man."
Yep.
It's so funny because I feel like this is how I imagine like the end of like a movie.
Right. Like in trade, that ending is going to be perfect. Like
Oh,
in
dude.
trade, like just
Yeah.
and
Oh, and yeah, exactly. And here's the thing: is like as soon as this trade goes on sale and people finish it, they're gonna be like, okay, I have to buy the next one.
right.
Or they're gonna have to, or they'll jump on single issues. Like it's just inevitable, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. What a great trade this is going to be. This 6 issue arc was awesome.
Yeah, man, it was great, incredible.
But to pivot over to the other side, the comic aisle, House of Brainiac just ended last week. Absolute Power
Yeah,
just began, but I just kind of wanted to talk about
yeah, definitely.
what we thought about House of Brainiac. So,
I'll start off. I mean, I gotta say the best part about it was probably the fact that it was the same creative team for every single chapter. It
yeah,
didn't matter if it was action or Superman or the special. It was all Rafa Sandoval and Williamson.
100%.
And that good.
This was one of the events where the tie-ins were completely unnecessary. Like you
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, yeah. No, I
I
I agree
like
with that.
I like that, because when the House of Brainiac trade comes out and those aren't in it, you're just still getting a complete.
Yeah, because the Power Girl tie-ins
Yeah.
easily the worst part of the event.
Well, I mean,
And I'm not
that's what Green Lantern was too. It was Power Girl and Green Lantern dealing with a Zarnian that isn't Lobo.
right, right. Yeah, and like the Guy Gardner one was at least funny and
Yeah.
like like at least I felt like I got some like entertainment out of that. And it was Kevin McGuire doing the art too. So like at least we got like a throwback to him doing Guy and all that and Lobo.
Yeah.
But like yeah, the Power Girl tie-ins were just absolute like dookie,
Right.
man. Like they were just, and they were short, and they weren't even like, they were boring. Like I don't know what else to say other than that. Like I'm not trying to like tear on the book because I think it's been okay. Like it's, some issues have been better than others, and I feel like it's been pretty good. The art's been pretty good. It's definitely not what I was expecting from another Power Girl run. Like it's not even Karen Star anymore. And we've talked about it a little bit. Like it's
Yeah.
Paige. She's working for the Daily Planet, and she's not even running her company anymore. Like a lot of it's weird. And Leah Williams has said that given, if she has the opportunity or the run goes that long, that she would like to dig into the JSA and all of, you know, Power Girl's history. But I just don't see this book lasting that
No.
long. Like,
No.
because the next three issues I think are like some romance arc, which with who? Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's necessary for this book. Like, that's not the kind of character that I see Power Girl as. Like, like, and maybe it's because She-Hulk has been really, really good and
Probably.
pretty successful, because it's been half romance, but also half action. Like just been like a really good slice of life She-Hulk book. And I think that's kind of what this was trying to replicate. But it failed on every, in every category trying to do that.
Right.
And it's a shame because there are some good aspects to this book that could carry it for a little while longer to get to that point. But I feel like this event really, really, really derailed it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of where I was going with this, is like when you get to these two or three issues for House of Brainiac, it just takes a huge nosedive because I mean, in like this, in last week's issue, she says, "Oh well, Harley is my best friend. I just got invited to her birthday party," and it's referencing an issue that came out like 3 months ago.
Oh goodness.
It's like you have a, okay. First off, your best friend is Omen. According to Leah Williams, right now, your best friend is Omen. Like not Harley Quinn.
Right.
And the other thing too is like, you have a million other friends that are heroes
Right.
that have been beside you for decades.
Right.
So it almost feels like we're getting like a revisionist history with a lot of these characters,
Is yeah.
because they're just characters that not a lot of people care about. So DC kind of pawns them off, and it turns into this. Well, it's just a mishmash of weird continuity, and we're just going to go ahead and go with whatever's popular right now and kind of throw it in and see what happens.
Right.
Because, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Power
Whatever.
Girl lost me early in. I'm
Yeah,
just
and
glad also because at least the Green Lantern title wasn't derailed. It was
yeah,
just a backup. Like that, they probably would have been better off doing that for Power Girl also, just kind of just throwing it
right,
backup for it.
right.
But um
Everything else, like Superman in action, top notch, dude.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, even that special that was in between. Um I don't think that was all Sandoval either. I think there was some other guest.
the main story was Sandoval, but the other parts I think were obviously of other artists. But
Yeah, yeah.
um, I think the biggest reveal out of this whole event was that the light is like the multi-brain, is like the different brainiacs.
Yeah, from Dark Crisis, the Council of Light, whatever, that they were the
Yeah,
multiversal.
brainiacs or
Yeah.
whatever, shell bodies, whatever.
Yeah.
I still don't like it.
Yeah.
That's like my other complaint with this event is like, I would have been fine if Brainiac was on it
Well,
or
I would
like
say
leading
that
it.
these events have been giving out just terrible reveals,
Yeah, and it's like,
Oh,
you're right. It's, I mean, I just I don't know what they could have put in its place other than like a bunch of different villains that are like, you could have done like Brainiac, or like Lex or Vandal Sat, like, what I mean? Like maybe they're the obvious choices, but like to make it just be Brainiac, so it's like, let's tie it back to absolute power. And it's like, okay, so the Brainiac saved Amanda Waller from Earth 3. Does and I mean, it lends its credence to your theory that it's Earth 3 Waller.
yeah.
And I'll tell you what, and like to kind of tangent to absolute power for a second, like I read it yesterday,
Yeah, I just read it like before we did this.
and good, not bad. I liked
Yeah.
it. Art was really incredible. Art
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah,
I
that new colorist with Dan Mora just makes it look
Yeah,
so
Alejandro
yeah.
Sanchez, dude. That's the guy that was doing Shazam with him.
Oh, okay,
But
gotcha.
like it looks way different than
Yeah,
when
it
he was
does.
doing Shazam. Like it's so much darker and like
Yeah.
grittier. And that dude's talented for
Yeah.
colors.
The shine all
Um,
over like Wonder Woman's gold and stuff like that.
yeah,
It was like, whoa, like this is popping.
good
It's
stuff,
great.
dude. Um, but yeah, like it's good. I liked it. It makes House of Brainiac feel more like important
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But again, like to tie it back to House of Brainiac, I just any other reveal for the light and maybe to see them maybe get carried on into absolute power would have been cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. It's
No, they just needed to fold over Brainiac Queen and that's
right, which I feel like they did a pretty good job. Like, and for all intents and purposes, the if you were to read that in event like in a trade, it would be a super quick read
Mhm.
because it's just like first chapter Zarnians coming in, capturing people. Next few chapters, boom, boom. It's like everybody breaking out, all of the mystery, all of the reveals, everything happening, and then it's the end. Kind of where like Brainiac is losing his intelligence because of was it emotion? I think is what it was, right? Or he's like missing that piece of knowledge, but it kind of seemed like that knowledge that he was missing was just like compassion almost.
Yeah, just like that
Like
feeling of not being alone and
yeah,
feeling,
like quite literally getting the one thing that he thought he didn't need, which was like a family, you
right,
know? So he worked so hard to create a family when he already had one, only for it to like basically be his downfall.
right.
So which is like a really like philosophical thing, which like Brainiac I feel like has always been one of those characters anyway.
And what do you think about this whole thing with Lex now? Lex is pretty much mind wiped, like, right? So
Yeah. I'm interested to see where it goes. What does that mean for like one, what does that mean for his rivalry with Superman? Like, does he like obviously it just happened, so we don't know how much he forgot or how much he remembers. Um, it's interesting though.
yeah, it makes me wonder if like it's kind of giving me the even though I didn't read it, but it's kind of giving me the whole thing what Zeb Wells did with like Norman Osborn, kind of just mind wiped him and erased
Oh,
it,
like getting rid of his sins or whatever.
and to try to put him on a better path, and then of course that doesn't happen.
Something will happen, right?
You
Yeah, I
know,
don't know. It's interesting. It would be cool to see Lex like be a hero again. I thought that was cool for a while.
yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, if there's one thing I gotta say though about all of these things, Joshua Williamson needs to take a break. I think after doing Infinite Frontier, and then you're getting into Justice League Incarnate, then Dark Crisis, then Superman, House of Brainiac, Lazarus Planet, Night Terrors, Beast World, and all
Yeah.
these things that just it feels like Joshua Williamson like just kind of laid out a blueprint, and just kind of because he's
Right,
been
because
running the
even
ship
even
since
even
Death
if he
Metal
didn't
ended.
write those like some of those events himself, it's obvious that he had a heavy hand in like helping develop them because he's
Yeah,
been
and
like their
paving the
head, like
road
the
to
head of like create, not even like like official head of creativity, but like he's been kind of the show, like he was, like Snyder was for a while. Like he's kind of the showrunner right now.
right,
But that seems to kind of have shifted gears now.
right.
I mean, at least it might if after Absolute Power, we'll see whatever's going on next.
Yeah,
I and especially with him being like announcing that he's actually doing GI Joe for the Energon universe. So, and another book. I think he's doing another one for Image. Um, but yeah, and then he's dropping uh Batman and Robin and Green Arrow.
yeah,
I think
which
he's done after the Absolute Power arc is when he's done. So like 16, I think he's done after that.
right, which
Which
I just think it's time. Like I like Joshua Williamson's writing. I have no problem with it, but it's just You
Yeah,
know,
and he's a good
I'm
writer. Like
ready
he
for
did.
somebody else to like man the ship for a little bit.
Yeah, he's done some really good work for Image before. Like I read Birthright, what,
Mhm.
last year, maybe the year before. Really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Art's really good. I mean, I am probably gonna check out Dark Ride here in the next few weeks, maybe.
Okay.
And that's the same creative team as it's Williamson and what's his name? Andre Brezen, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the art for both Birthright and Dark Ride are really, really cool.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Williamson's a good writer. I just think it is kind of maybe time to hang up his DC hat for a little while.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
my problem with
especially with
Jorge Jimenez. Like, I love your work, dude. I love your work, but I need somebody else doing this. Like by now.
yeah, like it's funny because I can't think of a single artist that's like stayed on a character for as long as he's been on.
Oh yeah.
Like Batman because like I mean he did Justice League and then he's done other things, but like he's been on Batman since like
Kenyon was doing it.
yeah, 2000 what, 2019?
Yeah,
5 years of Batman, dude. That's
pretty
crazy.
much.
Well, Bagley did Spider-Man for how long, dude? He did Spider-Man for so long.
Well, he did Ultimate Spider-Man that pretty much that entire run.
That's what I mean. Like, and that was, 100 plus issues. So,
Yeah. And then now, of course, he's doing all the stuff with Slot.
well, yeah, yeah, that's true. So yeah, he's been on Spider-Man forever, but he's like the Spider-Man guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't know. I like his Batman work, but it's like shiny and pretty all the time. Like
Yeah.
I'm give me something gritty, man.
Yeah.
Like Nick Klein on Batman would be pretty cool.
That'd be sick. That'd be
Like, and
incredible.
not because we would be getting we would be getting these monsters. Like, could you imagine like a Nick Klein Clayface or
Right.
like a Scarecrow with the fear gas?
That'd be sick. Yeah.
Crazy, bro. It'd be
Yeah.
so cool. Like I just imagine like a 3 issue arc where you get like some of these things that he's drawing in Hulk, but they're like drawn in like with Batman characters and like him being affected by the fear gas. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Right.
Dude, give
Right.
me switch Ram V over to regular Batman, put Nick Klein on art. Even if it's just for an arc, just let me have it.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I think just to go back to House of Brainiac, I think it
Yeah.
was a great event. I think Rafa Sandoval's art so consistent, so
Yeah.
fantastic the whole time. Um, it because Sandoval did a lot of stuff with Philip Kennedy Johnson, so it kind of
Yes.
brought me back to that type of feeling of when action looked like that.
Yeah.
And I'm excited, but I just don't know because it's like that was such a cool event, but I'm so sick of these events just setting up the next event.
Yeah,
You
because
know
like
what I mean? Like
well,
usually
right, because
we
they're
get
not even
events that
they're
set
not
up the
ever
next
ending.
era. Usually we get
They're not
events that set up the next era. Now we're just getting events that set up the next event, that set up the next event.
well, right, because I think I may have even said this like when Lazarus Planet came out because it was like a direct offshoot from Dark Crisis.
Mhm.
So it was like at this point we're not even in events anymore. It's just the nature of comics at this point. Like they're still selling them to us as events. So that
Right,
way people are like buying in and getting the tie-ins and they're making all that extra money. But we're not. Like there are no more events.
right,
There are just overpriced story arcs that promise to change the universe but never really do.
right.
And I'm guilty of it too. We're all just too dumb to realize it, so we keep buying in on it.
Well, I mean, like the problem, like you remember how all these people got their powers from like the Lazarus Rain? What happened with that? I mean, I guess now it's gone because absolute power took it all away. But it's like that was that was like a thing for maybe like six characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Power Girl, Mary Marvel, and like
Mercy and
Mercy, yeah.
John Kent, and like who else? Like that's it. Like that's really all it and Insomnia.
We don't talk about Insomnia.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it was just
Because
straight.
they're about to insomnia Amanda Waller. I just feel it, dude. I feel it in my gut that we're gonna get this 3 issue origins story, and it's
Oh yeah,
just gonna be the superheroes are the reason my family is dead. And
Oh
if
yeah.
that's really what this boils down to, I'm out, bro. I'm
You already
100%.
know it's gonna be that though. We already know. It's gonna
Yeah, like,
be
and it sucks because that first issue was actually really, really good.
yeah.
So the fact that it's probably gonna be and maybe they'll double red herring, like, they'll red herring us and be like, "Oh, hey, well, this is Waller's history, and, this is why she's, like, the way that she is." But then it'll be revealed that it's actually Earth 3 Waller and that our Waller is actually, like, this like, it actually did happen to her, but she's not as extreme as that of the Waller we've been following.
Right. Right.
You wanna get me on Waller's side? Make the final issue a super powered Waller versus this Amanda Waller.
Yeah, that,
Waller v. Waller at the end. I'm here, dude.
yeah.
I'll buy twice.
Well, especially if they like bring back like Ostrander's like
That's
Waller.
what I mean. Like
Yeah.
the wall. Like
Yeah.
let it be the wall. The
Yeah.
wall versus the pile of ass.
Yeah. Because like,
Because
that would be perfect. All it would pretty much mean is like, oh crap, Waller's back on Earth 3, and this Waller is trying to make up for the fact that she failed with Earth 3.
right.
So, and it only makes sense. I mean, they keep kind of reminding us that she's from Earth 3, all in that like Suicide Squad Dream Team. Like they're
Yep.
constantly reminding you that this,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they
oh, they're
even
constantly
referenced it in
reminding you
the
that Earth
in
3
Ground
happened.
Zero.
Yeah.
So like it's weird that they keep bringing it up for one, which kind of makes me think that's what they're going to go with. But also, it would probably win a lot of because all I see everywhere online, Amanda Waller's in this book. Amanda Waller's in that book. I don't like Amanda Waller. She's not interesting. This is not who she should be. This is not the character that she was 20 years ago. I don't know what happened. Why the hell is this going on? Like that's most of the talk that I see online.
Right.
Or even people in the shop. Like people like they just she's not a well-written character right now. And it's like it's different when I hate her because she's well written, but that's not the case. I just can't stand the character because of how she's written, the leaps in logic it takes to get her to where she's at, and this is not the version of the character that I think works well or what they should be. You know, I'm just one person, but like we started to see that shift in like New 52, you
Right.
know?
Well, I
And
just think it's just Waller fatigue all around. She's in
yeah,
my Adventures with Superman. She's the main villain in these comics and has been
right.
for
She's
like
been
3 years now, like three
right,
years.
and the only adaptation of her that's had any good reception is live action.
Hmm.
And well, I mean, that's also because one, you had a good director for the last movie, and two, you have a really good actress portraying her.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just have you again. I think that's part of the too many cooks in the kitchen thing
Yeah.
because you have James Gunn that's the only one in charge of her, and Viola Davis maybe having some input on what's like dialogue, whatever, what have you. But like this is just every single person that can write Waller however they want.
Right.
And sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it's just stupid, and
Right.
sometimes it's cool. Like when this issue was the first time I thought Amanda Waller could be a good villain.
Right.
Like
Well,
Absolute Power 1 has been really the only time in the last couple years where I felt like this is an Amanda Waller that I could get behind for at least for this event.
that's the magic of Mark Wade. I mean, yeah,
Dude,
when you have Mark Wade doing like,
he's just a master chef, dude.
yeah, when you have Mark Wade just handling like he knows these characters, he treats them with such care, and he
Yeah,
there's a
which
reason
is
why
why like
everybody says that they email him whenever they have questions about DC and their
yeah,
writing.
and right, and that's and we always go back to that like classic thing where him and Grant Morrison could argue about what Crypto's collar is made from. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like
exactly. It's
it's to have that level of knowledge. Like at that point, you're just kind of it's almost like in your DNA.
yeah, yeah.
So fucking good, bro.
And I
But yeah,
mean, it did give me like I love seeing his Batman in this. It reminded me a lot of World's Finest Batman. Just
yeah,
I love too that Mora gave him the little dovetail thing at the bottom of this one too, like on his plate insignia.
yeah.
Like he's got that little dovetail that he
Uh,
used.
do we want to save like a deeper talk of absolute power for next week or
Yeah, we
for
could do
like
that.
the week?
We could do
'Cause, I
that.
mean,
I
it's really
mean,
okay. I don't even know what else really came out. Oh, let's see. Hold on. I haven't read.
last week wasn't a big week for me, so
No, no, no. Yeah, like I've
I
got
still
I've
gotta
got
go. I
Venom.
still gotta go in and pick up my pull. I'm gonna do that today.
I've got Venom, Rogue Sun, Radiant Black, Justice Society, Doctor Strange. Absolute Power would be the big one. So we'll just talk about
Yeah,
Absolute Power this next week.
yeah,
Uh, we got 3 minutes left, but
yeah,
I
man.
want to talk about this really fast.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm a
Awesome.
I'm a sucker, bro.
Well, let me just say that I really enjoyed it. I like
Yeah,
this issue. I think it's I forgot that artist's name, but it's the same
Javier
artist that
Rodriguez,
did.
man.
He's the one that did Defenders Beyond, which I love.
Yes, and Defenders, dude. Like we were just talking some smack about Jorge Jimenez. Put him
Yeah,
on a Zatanna book, bro.
yeah,
Put him
dude.
on Zatanna, and then
Yeah,
Batman can show up and he can still draw Batman.
yeah. I mean, but I thought it was great. Mariko Tamaki,
Yeah,
good
and we
job.
talked about this like briefly before the book came out. She's kind of hit or miss for me in terms of
Yeah,
like her Hulk is okay, but other things are okay by her. But this was actually really good. I like the. It's interesting to see like it is out of continuity, so it's not going to line up with like you know Prime Earth Zatanna. But I do like her like not using the word magic.
right,
Like her like kind of dancing around it and saying like I do tricks and I'm a magician and all these things, but I don't do magic. Like because of what she did to that boy when she was younger, you
right,
know? And then the other fact where you have like this person that's constantly showing up at her shows and when she finally like calls them out on it, they're like, "Oh, like I like magic. I don't like tricks."
right,
And then you learn that the reason like there's a deeper rooted problem and it's the reason like we're led to believe that she's the reason her dad is dead.
right.
So it's a lot of really like, and Javier Rodriguez's art just lends itself to this story so well because there are so many cool like, dude, like we saw this in the previews, but this is such a great like
Oh, I
double
know.
page story, dude.
Such Defenders Beyond vibes.
Oh
The
yeah,
print.
and then like this thing right here, like just like it's just cool getting him to see like draw like these weird creatures and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
More Black Label series, please. More.
dude. Yeah, seriously.
More that aren't Batman.
Yeah, I don't know. This is gonna be a really cool series. I'm excited for the rest of it. Hopefully, it maintains its quality throughout. But I mean, at this point, either way, I'm getting it for the Javier Rodriguez art.
Yeah.
But that's all the time we got, y'all. Thanks for tuning in again. We'll catch you next week.
All right.
Peace.
Later on, guys.